Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we got Season 2 of ranking playmaking badges and tiers on NBA 2K22 Next Gen. So hope y'all enjoy. If you do, drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to 1,000 likes. Now, if you're new to the channel, new to the series, we've been doing two different videos. We've done the finishing and defense, re-ranking these. And in these two videos that I've done for Season 2, what we're doing is, we're having the color on the left indicate what the former ranking was. So, in the old tier list, everything that was in purple was in the E, everything that was in blue was in the D, so on and so on. Just wanted to explain that to anybody who's new to the channel. And real quick, before we get started with the video, I just want to quickly defend myself and talk about the integrity that I have behind these badge tier list videos and how I'm trying to put you guys as a community on to, in my opinion, the best badges. Now, that is what it is. It's my opinion. And when people have contrasting opinions, like this one right here, it's okay. He says Giant Slayer is probably the most underrated badge that gets slandered in a lot of badge tier lists. And that's, like I said, perfectly fine. I have no problem with people cordially and respectfully having comments and difference in opinions. But what I really get irritated with is this right here. So a lot of people seem to think this as well, that when I do these tier lists, it's just completely swayed and biased toward my own builds, my own experiences with the game. Meanwhile, this is what the actual tier list looks like. So I have Mouse in the House, literally in the S tier, as one of the best finishing badges in the game. I have Grace Under Pressure and Hook Specialist, where I have a build that's 6'6" with 25 close shot. I can't even get these badges in the first place, and I struggle to defend them. And I'm telling people that they're good. So long story short, I appreciate you guys' feedback. I want you to keep giving your feedback, and I do appreciate the conversations we can have in the comments. But lately, it feels like the bigger my channel has got and the more I've done these tier lists and the bigger the audience it's become, the less I can actually do that, where I don't even get the chance to actually debate things with you guys, or maybe just like I said, respectfully trade comments back and forth with you, where now it's just people raging and coming at me personally and stuff like that. And it's not cool, but it is what it is. I'm the punching bag with the YouTube channel, so I gotta take the comments as it is, and that's fine, honestly. So anyway, to get on with the rest of this video, it's gonna be all positivity from here. It's not gonna be any more negative BS or anything like that. And like I said, I'm not gonna get on here and be all like personal when it comes to the YouTube stuff. But regardless, I do appreciate your guys' feedback, but to say that I do these lists biased toward my own playstyle is ridiculous. I even mentioned in the video itself that I wasn't doing it biased, and I mentioned that on Acrobat. It would have been an S tier badge for me, or at least an A tier, but I kept it in the B because it didn't fit a lot of people's playstyle. So it is what it is. Anyway, moving along, like I said, with this tier list, we're going to replace the badges. So, for instance, Triple Threat Juke, if I feel like it's not in the E tier anymore, it's going to wherever I think it is, and in which case, it's going to be moving to the F tier, to be completely honest with you guys. The only playstyle I feel like this would fit or relate to would be a Pierce Lasher, and in which case, people are probably going to be sagging off on you anyway, and you have nobody to stun because they're just far off of you. So, if you are somebody who maybe is a three-point shooter or something like that, and you do stun somebody, I just feel like, honestly, with how many good playmaking badges there are in this game that can get you past the defender, stun the defender, all types of stuff like that in an open area where you don't have to have your dribble picked up. Another thing about Triple Threat Juke is, if you are able to do it, it means you don't have your dribble yet picked up, and you can only do it one time. You can only do this stun one time per possession. You're not going to be able to do it like Tight Handles is, where you could literally spam them 15 times with a move to wait for it to actually work. Whereas with this one, once you move out of that triple threat, you can never pick the ball back up unless you pass it to your teammate and he passes it back to you. And I just feel like that's not good. I feel like it doesn't fit a lot of people's playstyle at all anyway. And for the playstyle it does fit, I still think the badge isn't that good. So long story short, Triple Threat Juke, F tier badge. So next badge we got is going to be Downhill. It's going to be staying in the D tier where I originally had it in the last tier list. And personally, I just feel like this badge isn't that good. I feel like the situation that is going to arise, and maybe you get like probably at most 5 rebounds in a game. If you're in a game where people are trading horrible shots back and forth and you maybe have like 12, then I understand, I guess. But even at that, even if they are missing like 12 shots in the game and you grab 12 rebounds, I don't really feel like this is going to get anybody open that much. Maybe it gets you open slightly. Maybe you're able to just shred past you and the other big men that were on you, and then just like that, you push it on a 2-on-3 fast break on 3v3, or in Pro-Am, maybe you try to do that. But I'm gonna be real with you, if you even try to do stuff like this in Pro-Am, you are going to get the ball stripped from you. There are fiends in Pro-Am with like 99 steal everywhere, and you put the ball on the ground as a big man, you're getting that stuff ripped. I promise you, it's not gonna go well. Obviously, there's no point to be made on this badge when it comes to 2v2. It actually does activate when you grab a rebound and you try and run it back out to the three-point line, but either way, that'd be a complete waste of a badge if you ask me on 2s, and the utility in that is just horrible. And then, like I said, for 3s, I do understand why people like to run it. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun badge that could actually get you a lot of like cool clips and stuff like that, where you can get those 2-on-3 fast breaks. Maybe you contact dunk someone off the corner, and at the end of the day, it's in the D tier because it's not a horrible, useless badge like Triple Threat Juke is or anything like that. So next badge, we have Space Critter moving from the D tier to the B tier. The best way I'm going to suggest for you to activate this is going to be with your hop jumper package, and I gotta say, Harrison Barnes, fire hop jumper package. I use it myself. I haven't really had the chance to use Space Creator a lot myself, but I've seen other people do it. I understand how this could work, and then also paired with the new buffed Circus 3's badge on the shooting, and then on top of that, the ankle breaking shots takeover. This is a lethal trio. That would be disgusting, honestly, if people were to just spam it, and it's a pretty good badge, really, Space Creator. And I was sleeping on this originally. I didn't see the utility in it before, but the Circus 3's being buffed, as well as just the fact that you can do multiple things with it, it really allows people to expand on their play style and play more like that shot creator style, rather than just to play as a play sharp the entire game, where you're just quick stopping and just shooting the 3 every single time. Next on the list, we have Break Starter, moving from the D tier to the C tier. I will say, I think this badge is really needed in Pro-Am. It makes a lot of sense to have it. I think it's just an essential in terms of you really need to check that ball deep when you have people streaking and are wide open, and for you to complete the pass is super important. And then also, like I said, for rec, it's understandable too. I will say for 3v3, I don't know if this badge is really necessary, but I do see why you would use it if you're someone who gets a lot of rebounds and you guys like to run fast break, or maybe you have a really defensive lineup. But in most situations, if you have a really good point guard, honestly, fast breaks aren't really even that useful anyway, because the half court offense is just dominant regardless. So I feel like it's really more of a Pro-Am badge, but if you're someone who likes to run it as the big man and you have a lot of playmaking badges, you don't have anything better to use, then it's understandable. If you're someone who upgraded your pass accuracy to like 85, didn't touch any of your ball handling stuff, and you're like 7 foot or above, you likely have this just because you have to, and maybe you're biased because you want to see actual usefulness or utility in it because you kind of have to run it. But anyway, honestly, I do think the badge is still good. I run it myself because, like I said, I'm in that exact same position as well, where I have a 7 foot big and a 7'3" big, where I don't have enough badge points to use anything else, so I just use Break Starter, and I do see the usefulness of it. But again, for 3v3, I don't know if it's necessity. In 2v2, obviously don't even run it at all, and for Pro-Am, it's definitely useful and needed. Our next badge, also moving from the D tier to the C tier, we have Post Playmaker. So shout out to 2K Toots on this one. He did some deep digging, some deep study, and found out that actually, if you are grabbing an offensive rebound and passing out to your teammate, Dimer does not activate, regardless if you have Post Playmaker on or not. Originally, some people might have thought that Post Playmaker was overriding Dimer, and it was making it so Dimer doesn't pop up, but regardless, Dimer wasn't popping up anyway when you grab those O boards and pass back out right away. And then on top of that too, if you're holding LT like posted up on the interior, Post Playmaker and Dimer do not stack. It's only Post Playmaker related when you are holding LT in the paint. Same goes for, like I was saying, grabbing offensive rebounds and passing back out. Dimer is going to be in the situation where you are like obviously the point guard, you're dotting your corner, you're dotting the big man in the paint, whatever the case may be, or you hit your big man in the paint and then he didn't tap LT or anything like that, and then he just passed out to the corner. Boom, Dimer is still going to work for that. So both badges are good. I think Post Playmaker is limited a little bit because it's not going to pop up so often, but if you are somebody who grabs offensive rebounds like crazy, this is probably going to be a good badge for you. And then if you're someone who, once again, if you're 7'3", 7 foot, something like that, you upgraded your pass accuracy to like 85, because that's what I suggest everybody to do as well. You probably have a surplus of playmaking badges. You are someone who's going to be running things like Post Playmaker, Break Starter, all types of stuff like that. And just because I put in the C tier doesn't mean they're bad badges. If anything, C and above is definitely like good and runnable at that point. But I'm just saying B tier, just to give you guys a benchmark, all right? S tier is like game breaking. A tier is like you must have this at all times still. B tier is like, yo, it's really good if you use this in the right way. It's pretty like good. It's pretty glitchy. And then C tier is like, yeah, it's a good little badge that you could equip and it's pretty doable. D tier is like, yo, I don't know if I would suggest running this, but if it fits your playstyle, so be it. E tier is like, hey, it's a pretty useless badge, but it at least actually does something. And then F tier is like, this badge serves no purpose at all. I wouldn't ever suggest running this. I don't know why you are either. And that's when I'd actually get personal with it. But anyway, not really. But regardless, moving along. And man, is this one gonna hurt some people, but listen, there is a absolute war going on with Stop and Go. There is one party who believes this badge is completely useless. There is another party who believes this badge is game changing for them. If that's you, so be it. This is my tier list. I'm putting this at the spot that I believe that this badge belongs. I play with 2 guards who are also very freaking good, and neither of them run this badge, and they think also that you're just completely crazy if you run this badge. And me personally, I don't really see any difference in the way that they quick stop or anything like that when they have this badge on, and I don't see any burst in the way that they like sprint or anything like that. It's just, I believe this badge is just bad. I originally had this in the C tier because other people believed so heavily, and I felt like I was gonna like irritate people or actually make them mad or anything like that. At this point, this is my tier list. I'm gonna put this where I believe it belongs, and that's in the E tier. honestly, low-key, I'm probably still swayed by those people's opinions because I probably believe this belongs in the F tier, to be completely honest with you guys. I don't think this actually does anything. I don't think it activates. I don't think it actually makes you quick stop faster. I don't think it makes you burst out of anything faster, and I just don't think it's a good badge. Next up, we have Special Delivery, moving down from the C tier to the D tier. The only utility in this badge at this point, it seems, is to maybe boost lobs a little bit, but originally I had this a little bit higher because I felt like for anybody out there who maybe played in a different way, who likes to flashy pass and be able to boost their team's actual like percentage of making it. If anybody doesn't know, if you flashy pass in this game, it boosts your teammates' ability to hit the shot rather than to boost their takeover after making the shot. Now, that takeover booster part in like every year that flashy pass or a special delivery was a thing was huge. That was crazy. It was a really game-changing thing, and this originally was probably like a B or A tier badge, honestly. But now I feel like the only utility in this is to actually help like throw lobs, and even at that, nobody really needs any help doing so. None of my guards run it on anything, and I still finish lobs really well. So me personally, I think I overrated this badge a little bit in the original tier list, and it belongs in the D tier right now. So now for one that I underrated quite a bit. So we originally had glue hands in the C tier. It's going to be now moving to the A tier. I don't think you can really make the case for S. That's not even like valid. Nobody ever, please don't make that argument. But anyway, glue hands, in my opinion, it's definitely good. It helps you as a big man a lot, and then also for the corner shooters or just anybody who's maybe running around off ball or anything like that too. Glue hands is fire. I think it's actually a really good badge. It fits anybody. If you're a point guard, I would even suggested running on like bronze. Bigs as high as you can get it. Now, me personally, I'm lucky with this. I have really good ball handle on both my bigs, the 6'8" and the 6'6" that I have. I have taller bigs as well, like a 7-footer that only gets us on silver, and then a 7'3" that doesn't get it at all. I will say the smoothness of catching the ball on pick and rolls is it's second to none. Like, it's beautiful the way that the 6'8" catches the ball and then just dunks that thing. It's just a glide of an animation. And also I can pass out really quickly off the catches too. And I don't have any personal experience catching as a shooter, but I've seen it firsthand in terms of the people I've played with, and it is a really good badge. Next up, I have Needle Threader moving from the C tier to the B tier. I feel like the usefulness of this badge definitely relies on the fact that passing lanes are really good. Like, they are disgustingly good in this game, and anything that can help you not get your passes intercepted is pretty helpful. I've also seen this on Hall of Fame from someone who has 99 pass accuracy. It is very, very interesting. I'm not gonna lie how well that like flies past people's heads. Now, the thing with this badge is hard to kind of judge and like gauge in terms of its performance ability is that you don't know what the steal rating is of every defender you ever play. So some people might just have bad steal rating, or they're just not good at playing passing lanes, and you're able to thread it by their head. I do feel like, though, this badge is definitely good, and the utility in this is like really needed, whereas things like Break Starter and Post Playmaker, they're just kind of, they're nice to have, but they don't really change anything. This actually helps you not throw turnovers. It helps you like thread the needle and get it to your teammates in situations where you could be throwing a pick six. If you throw a turnover, you could be giving the other team 3 points instead of your own team 3 points. Whereas if you can thread it by that guy, then you're getting 3 points and the other team isn't getting a fast break. And realistically, yes, there are times that maybe you shouldn't even just make that pass in general, but either way, really good badge to bail you out from bad passes, and its best utility is wherever the most people are on a court. So for instance, for 5v5, it's really good. For 3s, it's also still good. For 2s, you probably don't need it at all, to be completely honest with you, but maybe if you want to run it on bronze, so be it. But the more people there are on the court, the more passes that could be getting intercepted, and the more people that are playing lanes. Like, if you're playing Pro-Am, there's literally 4 people playing off-ball lanes right now, and maybe even the on-ball defender can play back and then boom tap X, and he's playing an on-ball lane. So you're avoiding passing lanes at all times, wherever there's most people at on the court, and the more people there are, the more relevant this badge becomes. Staying in the C tier is going to be Ankle Breaker. I feel like this badge is pretty straightforward. It's not like game breaking. I don't really see a lot of ankle breakers happen. I will say maybe if you pair this with the ankle breaking shots takeover, once again, it would be pretty good. If you're somebody who like loves to just dribble, you don't pass the ball very often, because let's be real, there's nobody who has 45 playmaking badges in this game. Maybe an exotic, like special person has 45 playmaking badges, but most people probably can't run things like Needle Threader and Dimer and Floor General and Space Creator and Ankle Breaker and tight handles and all types of stuff like that. And realistically, if you're someone who's maybe more of like a Kyrie Irving type of a playmaker where you want to run everything that's going to boost your ball handling ability, so Ankle Breaker, Space Creator, tight handles, but then not run things like Needle Threader and Dimer or anything to do with that, like bailout, passing related things, then I understand it probably would fit in your repertoire. I'm not gonna sit here and say that nobody can fit ankle breaker into their like player, but let's just be real. I mean, we got all these badges left, and this adds up. Like, this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Like, you're reaching probably around 50 when it comes to how much this costs to have all these on Hall of Fame right here. And most of these do fit a guard's playstyle. So realistically, it's just hard to really fit in a lot of these badges that are currently on the list. Another badge that's staying exactly where it belongs, in my opinion, is going to be Hyperdrive. We have this in the B tier. We had it as kind of like a fringe C tier, like a really high C and a low B originally, and that's where I feel like it still belongs. It fits a lot of Slasher's playstyle in terms of its downhill dribble movement, where if you're doing moving behind the backs and stuff like that, this is always going to work for you. Same with moving crossovers, and it does also still work for a lot of guards out there too. So, for instance, if you're doing anything that's moving forward off of a dribble move, Hyperdrive is working for it. I might even be kind of sleeping on this badge still. It might belong in the A tier, but I do feel like, honestly, it's kind of one of those lower playmaking badge things where it's not quite as good as maybe quick chain, quick first step, handles for days, or anything like that, but it's definitely on the same like tier of maybe things like floor general or bailout. And it's hard to pit these badges up against each other between Hyperdrive and say things like bailout, floor general, dimer, because these are all passing badges, whereas this is a like playmaking badge in terms of dribbling, and it's not on the same level as tight handles. I will tell you that much. I have a big difference in opinion on tight handles as I did in the old tier list, and these two badges are definitely not on the same tier. But Hyperdrive, I think it's still a good badge. You can make the case for the A tier, but I'm going to have it in the B tier personally for anybody. I'm talking like point guards out there, slashers. It's kind of just a good badge. Now, man, we got this tight handles right here in the S tier, and I gotta say, I'm talking well on this badge, and I'm talking all smooth and stuff, how it's so good. I hate this badge. I hate it as someone who has to defend it, and I did eventually put ankle braces on, and it has helped a lot. I will say you can hard counter this badge by running the ankle braces, but a lot of people aren't doing that, and man, I gotta say, this tight handle stuff is inevitable. You will stun somebody eventually with how many dribble moves you can chain together and stuff like that, and when you do stun them, you're gonna be running to the right, they're gonna be chasing you to the right, then you zig back to the left because they're pursuing you so hard, and then they have to jump at you because they're out of position, then they look stupid, and you're back to the right again after they jump. Now you're just wide open. It's just an inevitable thing that is going to happen eventually, is that you're gonna stun them, and it's disgusting how good this is. I might even make the case that it's one of the best playmaking badges, but it's hard to say because there's so many good ones that are going to be in this S tier. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This S tier is going to be loaded in this playmaking badge video, this one. Our next two badges are both going to be in the B tier, so we're just going to reveal them at the same time. We got Floor General and Bailout. Now, I want to talk about Bailout and its utility. I don't know if this badge is needed on Hall of Fame, but it's such a good bronze badge. It's such a good silver badge that I would just recommend this at all times for anybody who can get it, and it just makes a lot of sense to have. Now, I think it's height restricted. I think you have to be 6'10 or under to actually have this, because I was noticing on my like taller bigs that I couldn't even run it. I was like, what is this? Like, since when was this a thing? But anyway, again, I think this is a good badge, but it doesn't need to be on a high level. If you do have it on a high level, though, I'm not going to lie, it is cheesy. It is really a bailout. That's really what this badge is, and we've known that for years now at this point. But anyway, anybody who thinks this belongs in a lower tier, you're out of your mind. I think this is definitely on the same tier as some of these playmaking badges right here. It's definitely not in this area right here. I understand maybe you're grouping these together because you see a couple playmaking badges, like in terms of the passing stuff, but this is definitely in the area of the B tier. And then for Floor General, it's a good support system thing. I think this is more of a big man badge. If you're someone who has your pass accuracy up and you're the guy who can run silver or gold Floor General, it's going to help your guards out a lot. It's going to help your spot up really well. And maybe if you're a guard who feels generous, it makes sense too, but I would never really run this at the guard spot. I feel like as a point guard, you need to utilize your playmaking badges in a way that can get you open or help your teammates shoot the ball in a better way than Floor General. Because again, somebody could run that instead, and then you could also just have Dimer. So then your corner spot up is getting Floor General boost and Dimer boost, because your big man's the one who's running Floor General, not you. Now, if you run with a popper, like you run with a big man who shoots the ball, maybe it makes sense for you to run it, but I don't know. Either way, I feel like Floor General is still a really good thing to have. If you're playing Pro-Am, somebody has to have this on the court. It's just a given. You're wasting attribute points if you're just not running this. That's literally your whole team that could have +2 or +3 ratings to their build. Now, I will say too, this badge is incredibly hard to get on Hall of Fame level, and the only person that could ever get this on the Hall of Fame level is going to be a point guard, and even at that, it's really, really hard to get anyway. So I don't know if this is ever even a thing that's ever been ran on Hall of Fame in this game for anybody, but definitely gold is doable for even bigs out there. All you need is 88 pass accuracy for that, and it's doable, honestly. Like, most people probably in this game have around 85. If you went with that couple extra ratings to get you to 88, I think gold floor general is fire for anybody out there who can be a support system role for their team. Next up, we have Dimer staying in the A tier as well. And I gotta say, this badge is pretty self-explanatory, like I was just saying. For point guards out there, I would suggest to run this. I don't think you should be the one running floor general. And if you're the situation where you are deciding between floor general and Dimer, if you're the guard, I would definitely suggest Dimer, and then for someone else on your team to run floor general. If you're playing with two dudes that got 25 pass accuracy, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know at that point. Maybe just run them both. But you could even do a budget low-key. You could just do like silver on both of these, and then it would probably only cost you 4 total badges. Whereas when you get to those high Hall of Fame levels, it costs you like 6 badge points for things like Dimer and floor general. And for Hall of Fame floor general, it might even cost 7 low-key. Because I know D leader costs 7 to have on Hall of Fame, and it is expensive. It definitely is. But anyway, for Dimer, like I said, pretty self-explanatory. People act like the corners are just going to be 100% shooters and stuff like that, and you should never struggle to shoot the ball. But those are point guards speaking. Those are dudes who got 99 three-pointer, and they're talking on their big who might have 73. It is not like a piece of cake and just super easy to shoot the ball with 73 three-pointer, especially if you're trying to have the competitive advantage of running something quick, like jump shot 3, then it's really hard to get a hang of that jump shot for most people that I've seen. So honestly, I would definitely run Dimer if you're a guard out there, and just support your bigs a little bit, support your lockdowns and stuff like that, and help them shoot the ball. Staying in the A tier as well is going to be Quick Chain. What I want to say about this badge that's kind of different about pre-patch or like pre-season 2, so to say, is that with Unpluckable being boosted or just steals being nerfed in general, doing more Quick Chain related things is going to be even more cheese. And when you combine that with tight handles as well, like I said, the more chains you can do of that, the more stuns you're going to get. And then inevitably when you get the stun, it's going to be super easy to outrun your defender and just get him reeling. And then just like that, you're just playing, you're just kind of dancing with him. You're just making him have to keep up with you. And then it's just toxic. I'm going to be real with you, honestly. And then combine that with handles for days too. Like, you can just do this for super long. We all know the power of these guard builds that have Hall of Fame on all these like badges. And it really is disgusting. You could make the case this belongs in the S tier, but I don't think its power is really that high. I think it's definitely the best A tier badge on here though, to be completely honest with you. But either way, Quick Chain, pretty good badge. A lot of the top guards are going to run this on the Hall of Fame level, and a lot of just guards in general, you're going to run this at the highest level you can get. Next up, we have handles for days. I'm moving this from the A tier to the S tier. I'm realizing now that the longer you can just dribble for, the better. And it really is irritating, to be completely honest with you. You should never not have this badge on at the highest level that you can get it, because realistically, you can just dribble the whole 24 seconds out, and most times you're still not even tired enough to the point where it's going to screw up your jump shot. And if they were to nerf stamina in a sense, or nerf handles for days, you would see a lot of these people who are over here just dribbling the clock out. They would struggle to shoot the ball when you can actually defend them for a long time. And that would be a beautiful thing, to be completely honest with you. If people dribbled the ball for like 16 seconds in a row, and eventually like you were just defending them so well to the point where now you can sag off on their jump shot a little bit and prevent the rim runs and actually allow them to shoot, because they're going to struggle to shoot the ball because they're tired, and it's going to mess up their jump shot timing. But unfortunately, that's just not the case, and people really can just dribble the clock out and have no problem doing so. I don't know if most people I play against like have double Gatorade or something like that, or I don't know what the situation is, but in Pro-Am, that's kind of a given, I guess, that they would have the double Gatorade, but I would assume in Park, most people are not doing that, but I don't know. Maybe some guards out there are just some fiends like that. But anyway, handles for days, really game-changing, and it's got to be an S-tier badge. Staying in the S tier now is going to be Bullet Passer, and realistically, I'm going to just be completely honest with you guys. All these badges are staying in the S tier. These are all just literally game-changing. Now, I'm going to have to resize this one because it's not going to fit, but either way, Unpluckable, Quick First Step, Bullet Passer, all these badges are game-changing badges. So for Bullet Passer, to keep this pretty simple, you can get this on a lot of builds. 85 pass accuracy is very accessible. I think to have this on the Hall of Fame level is a little bit overkill, if you ask me. And then silver is like the minimum that you should have it. I don't think you should ever have less than 70 pass accuracy on a build. You become a liability and a problem if you have less than that, where you're just going to be floating passes, whether it's even like in situations where you're just trying to get it back to your guard. Honestly, like it becomes very lurkable. And with how good Interceptor is and like passing lanes and stuff like that in this game right now, having less than silver Bullet Passer is just not ideal. I think a lot of guards out there, like even Pro-Am guards at this point, I don't think you need Hall of Fame Bullet Passer, to be honest with you. I think gold is perfectly fine, and you don't see a lot of increase from the Hall of Fame level. And in case anybody doesn't know what this does by this point, it just adds velocity to your passes. I don't know why you wouldn't know that about the game yet, or about the badge, but just to cover all the bases for anybody who doesn't know that. Next up, we got Unpluggable. This is like 100% S tier badge. People were sleeping on this before update. I still felt like it was super important. Maybe it was because you needed it at the Hall of Fame level to actually see the increase, or at least gold. I will say a lot of people who did have silver Unpluggable were getting constantly ripped, and I don't know why you guys would expect a bronze or silver badge to literally change the game for you in the first place, but either way, gold was definitely good enough, and Hall of Fame was getting a lot of work done. Now, even more, it's like even more relevant that Hall of Fame and gold Unpluggable are just putting in like massive work for people with the steals being nerfed. And regardless, Unpluggable is just cheese at this point. Honestly, you can't get pluck steals anymore. I've never seen them realistically, and all I've even seen anymore is like bump steals at this point. So I don't know. Unpluggable is not going to save you from bump steals, but bump steals are already trash in the first place. You really can't get them too often unless you like perfectly position yourself anyway. And then quick first step, what more needs to be said about this badge? I mean, it's literally probably the best playmaking badge in the game, to be completely honest with you, where you just move quickly with the ball in your hands. It's about as simple as that. I'm not even going to describe it any more than that. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, and it's like the best playmaking badge in the game without a doubt. And it's just a glue badge. You need this. You always need this to be able to properly move with the ball in your hand. So that's all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Like always, try to 1,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put play in the comments to show your support all the way through. I appreciate you guys who do be watching. I see all the comments and stuff like that too, of you guys leaving the keyword that like shows that you made it all the way to the end of the video. I really do appreciate you guys who do watch the whole video as well. It means a ton, honestly, and it's huge for the sake of just performance on YouTube and all types of stuff like that too, for the average viewer retention and stuff like that. So when you guys aren't skipping through videos or like clicking off them early or anything like that, it's huge for the performance, and it's huge for how the video does and how my channel does. So I really do appreciate you guys who do watch the videos all the way through, and it means literally the world to me. And I want to show that much more appreciation to the people who do make it to the end of the video. So you guys will see. I be hard in all the comments and stuff like that of the keyword, because it tells me that you truly are one of the biggest supporters of the channel. So anyway, that's all video. Stay tuned for the shooting badge one, and we'll also have the takeover. And once that's over, we're gonna get back into the regular content and stuff like that, and you know, get back into the swing of things like gameplay. Right now, I'm kind of just rep grinding and grinding out new builds, and I will come back after these tier lists are done with a lot of gameplay and a lot of new builds. But anyway, that's all video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.